Hi, I'm Aly Dosdall for We Are Memory Keepers, and today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful die-cut window card using the Evolution Advanced. Now let's talk about this tool for a minute. This is really a unique tool. There's nothing like it on the market right now because you can adjust with this knob, you can adjust the pressure depending on the technique that you're using, whether you're doing letterpress or embossing or die cutting. And that's really nice because you don't have to switch mats for different projects, you don't have to add or take out shims. It just makes it really easy and convenient. So we're going to go ahead and start with die cutting. So I've turned my knob down to a die cut setting. And you'll see here that there are different size little sections there. That's just to show you the different widths of your paper. So if your paper is thicker, you're going to use the larger sections, and if it's thinner, you'll move it down to the thinner sections. So I've got it kind of in the middle for this. So what I'm using is I'm using some Basil cardstock, and this is a solid core cardstock, which really makes your embossing look beautiful. So I'll show you that in a minute when we do the embossing. But first we're going to start with the die cutting. Now I've already gone ahead and die cut a little window here in this cardstock, and I'm using the gem die set, which is beautiful and fun die set. And let me show you how this comes. When you get this, it comes in a little pouch that has a magnetic sheet behind it so your dies store really nicely. And there are all different sizes of dies, but each one of these little pouches fits perfectly into this storage binder from We Are Memory Keepers as well. So that's a really convenient way to store your dies. I love it. So what we're going to do is we've already cut the window in this front panel. And if you look at the sample over here, the window goes all the way through the front of the card and you can see the inside. So we need to cut a window in the card base itself. So the easiest way to do that is to take your mat. Now this is actually sold separately. This is the magnetic B mat, and this is awesome. It's really the only mat that I use because it's magnetic all the way through, so your dies can go anywhere on the mat and they won't move around. And so what I'm going to do is put this down. Let me turn this to the side so you can see. And I'm going to place my paper here. This is the card base, and this is 6 by 12. And then this is 5.5 by 5.5. And I'm going to place this on my card front exactly where I want it to be. So I'm going to try to kind of line it up so the border around is nice and even. Then I'm going to take my die and turn the cutting edge down. Place that right inside. Whoops, that moved a bit, but place that right inside the window where I want it to cut. Okay? So once I've done that, I'm going to take my platform and I'm going to flip it over and put it on upside down. Now I'm going to open up the sides of my tool, and let me talk about this part for a second. This is one of my favorite things about this tool, is that you can fold these sides in and store this totally in a compact and small place, so it's really great for storage. But when you're ready to use it, you just pop these open and move them down, and that suctions your tool to your workspace, and that is really strong. It is not going anywhere, so I love that. So now we're going to put the platform and mat into the tool, and we're going to run it through. Now as you're doing this, you're going to wonder if this is actually doing anything because it's pretty easy to put through, but it really is working, and it's working well. So I'm going to put that through, take this off, and then we're going to pull up the die, pull up the window, and we're going to pop this right out. Okay, now let me show you another one of my favorite We Are tools. This is the Quick Sticks, and this you can use one end for picking up little bits and pieces, and the other end has a chisel tip, and then you take it out and you can switch it over, and there's a fine point tip that you can use for this kind of thing, just popping out all those little bits and pieces from your die cuts. So that's definitely a must-have tool. Now I'm not going to use this on this card today, so I'm going to set that aside and save it for another project. Let me get my scraps out of the way and my die out of the way, and I will show you how this works. So now you're just going to place that front layer on top, and the window goes all the way through to the inside of the card. It's kind of cool. So once you've finished all your die cutting, then you're ready to do some embossing. And today I'm using the beautiful gemstone next level 3D embossing folders from We Are Memory Keepers. These are seriously amazing. They add a level of dimension and texture to your project that is just unbelievable. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, since they're so dimensional and they're 3D, they're a little thicker than traditional embossing folders. So we're going to use a different setting on the tool. I'm going to place my paper inside, and I recommend using paper that fits inside the folder. Because of the 3D nature, you're going to want it to be inside and not outside of the edges. So I'm placing that inside. Again, I'm going to use my same mat. I don't have to switch mats, but I do need to switch the pressure here. Now, normally you can use this side and use the embossing settings on this side, but since these are thicker, I'm going to rotate this around, and all of the next level embossing folders work really well for me on the #1 setting. So that's what I'm going to use today. So I'm going to open this back up, slide this in, and again, it's really easy. It doesn't feel like it's working very hard, but it is. Okay, so let me show you the incredible dimension that you get when you emboss with this. It's just stunning, and it makes your project look so amazing. So now that we've done that, we are ready to finish up this card. So before I adhere this card layer onto the front, we're going to take a couple of other gem die cuts, which I already cut out, and I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to place this right inside that window, and it's going to look kind of like it's suspended there, which is a kind of a fun technique. So I'm going to use some washi tape strips, get that back in there, and I'm just going to stick this right on, making sure it doesn't go over the edge so it won't show on the front. I love washi tape. I use it for so many different things. It's super handy. This is just another awesome way to use it. Let's stick those on there and that on there. Now you can leave it just like this, and I'll kind of show you how that looks. If you want to see the inside of the card, you're still going to see a little bit of that washi tape peeking through. So let me show you how to clean that up a little bit. Just going to push that down a little more securely. And you can just take another piece, and I'm going to use the Sticky Thumb two-way glue pen. Something that's fine point will work nicely, and I'm just going to place a little bit of adhesive around on these parts in here so it'll stick. Okay. We're going to just place that right on top, and we're going to try to line that up really carefully so it doesn't show through to the front side. Press it down. Okay, so now you can see, let me show you when you open up the card front. If I get it in the right place, let me move that a little bit out of the way. You can see now that's a little bit cleaner. That'll just make it look a little nicer when you open it up. So we're going to adhere this, and if you look at the sample, I've used some foam squares to just kind of make that pop a little more, but you can use whatever you'd like. And I've got some double-sided tape just to keep things simple for this video. So we're going to just run a little bit of tape around the outside edges. And maybe just a bit here, kind of close to the die so it stays down. And then I like to flatten my card out before sticking this on. Okay, so there's a nice little window card. You can see right through. And then you're going to embellish this however you'd like. What I've done is I've used some pretty papers and a piece of ephemera from the Hello Darling collection. It kind of matches the cardstock that I'm using. So, and what I did on this sample is I wrapped some twine, some baker's twine twine around the strip before I placed it down. So you want to make sure if you're going to add twine that you do that first. So, but for this video, I'm just going to stick it down right there. And then I've got this fun little You Make Me Happy piece of ephemera, some nice little sentiment. And I, again, popped mine up with some foam squares on the sample, but you can just adhere it down. Then I added a few little glittery sequin stickers, which I love to use those for all kinds of projects. So, and there you have your beautiful little window, die-cut window card. So thanks for joining me. I'm Aly Dosdall for We Are Memory Keepers.